which leads us nicely onto our talking point. Each week, I like to have like a topic that we talk about. Some of the things we've spoken about so far was the chicken boxes, when they put the knife crime stories in chicken boxes. We've spoken a bit about social appropriation, brands. But today, with it being Black History Month, I thought we could talk a little bit about Black History Month. I think for me, growing up, I've always kind of sneered at Black History Month because I feel it's a bit of a mockery in a way. Black history should be history because our history is intertwined. So having the month of Black History Month, I was always a bit like, here we go. But I do think it's important and it should be celebrated. So I'm kind of on, is it a farce? Or is it just like every year, get the old different types of food out, look at a few slavery stories, but it doesn't really necessarily look at our history past a certain point. I think, remember, I did that poem about the Moors, Stand Up and Be Counted, which was one that I started performing around Black History Month, and it was highlighting the Moors because it's something that I never knew. I had no idea that the Moors were occupied Europe for 800 years, and that's not something that we're taught, and I think that's a good example of like how Black history isn't really, it's hidden in plain sight. You talk about the Moors, we learn about the Moors in Othello, but I never really knew the significance of them. So I just want to get your opinion on Black History Month and what it means and what it could be, even if it should be. What do you think?
Well, I once sneered at Black History Month, if I'm honest. I completely understand why. But I'm more of the mindset that Black History Month is a really, really great asset. I think it's a really, really great asset. So I'm not sure. I mean, you probably already know this, but it was started by Carter G. Woodson.
Let's tell the audience. I don't know that much. It's in the US. I know it's an American thing.
Yeah. So it was started by a brother named Carter G. Woodson. He wrote a book called The Miseducation of the Negro, which is a really good book. That was actually, coincidentally, the first book I read on the subject. Do you know what I mean? That book proper put me on. Yeah. And Carter G. Woodson, he had this idea to do Black. It was actually Negro Remembrance Week, I think, at the time. And the reason was because so many African people were disassociated from Africa.
Yes.
They didn't
disconnected.
Yeah. And I think the intent that went into it was really profound, was really powerful, and was really valuable. Even in the UK, I'm gonna do a madness. I can't remember the brother's name. That book. It's a very unique name.
It might come back to you.
It might come back to me, yeah. But the brother that brought it to the UK, his intent that he put into it, do you know what I mean, was really valid, I think. It's because a lot of people within the diaspora, even now, do you know what I mean, like, still don't take pride in who they are.
Don't really know, I suppose.
I think the reason that you and I have sneered at it is because it is still in the hands of people who historically have miseducated us. Do you know what I mean? So it's not as much a black thing as it is a British thing.
It's like a jazz hand song and dance. That's like
a little bit, yeah.
And I find that they kind of always take us back to a certain point. It's like, I think my mum bringing me up always taught me that our history is so rich. We've been separated from our history. Like, for example, Egypt is separated from Africa. Like, this is all part of our history. And I find that with Black History Month, it always goes back to a certain point, to slavery, and we never look past that.
This is because of the nature of the teacher. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was one, when I read the topic, the first thing that popped into my head, Malcolm X, he says, only a fool allows his enemy to educate his children. Love it. Absolute favourite quote. Powerful, powerful. So I feel like Black History Month needs to be reclaimed, not got rid of. Do you know what I mean? Like, it needs to be reclaimed. It is being reclaimed, as a matter of fact. And I think because of that, there are actually moves being made. One sister I performed that show with, she was telling me that in her area, they're making moves to get rid of it, to get rid of Black History Month entirely in her area, you know.
Okay.
And I think that is in part because it is being reclaimed. Bear in mind that we are at the tail end of hundreds of years of trauma, of intergenerational, right?
Yeah.
So this is not something that's going to be undone by one generation because we have internet. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
That we're just going to suddenly...
It's going to take time.
Yeah, it's going to take...
Yeah.
Your children's children are the ones that are going to be... Yeah.
Post-traumatic slave syndrome, all of these things have...
There's so many generational curses that need to be broken and all of that. So, obviously, we're doing loads, do you know what I mean? It's very accelerated.
And you can feel it now, can't you?
You can feel it now,
When you,
do you know what I mean?
somewhere like Flow Vortex, for example, when you go there and you hear the minds,
Yeah.
and you think, you know what? It's not just me. I'm not isolated.
No,
there is change happening. There are enlightened people,
100%.
and you can feel the change. So I do think it's valid, and I think we should be celebrating. But it's what we're celebrating
because of
and
that.
what we're sharing.
I feel like it's important that we reclaim it. I think that's the key. That's the key. You know, it started here. So you know, right now, it's almost testament to cultural appropriation. You know. A brother had an idea to start Black History Month, and here we are in 2019 at Black History Month. We're being taught up to a point about slavery. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the idea has been warped. That's not what it was meant to be. Do you know what I mean? That's
It's supposed to be
about.
reconnecting us with our,
so I think what's
our
important
heritage.
is us taking it back and using it as an opportunity to promote as much of the richness of Black history as we can, because it's out there, it exists, do you know what I mean? And we now have the tools to do it.
I think you've got a poem on, is it Malcolm X? Who is it?
I've got one on Malcolm X, I've got one on Marcus Garvey.
Ooh, Marcus. Ooh, well, with it being Black history, because Marcus Garvey is someone that doesn't really get spoken about enough.
Yeah.
He tried to reconnect. He was doing what we're trying to do now. All the way back then. So maybe considering when you're deciding which poem to do.
Should I jump up? Should I go for it?
Yeah. Which one are you going to do?
Well, now, I'll do Marcus Garvey.
Okay, let's do Marcus Garvey. Step up to the mic. Got to think of a name for it's like not vortex, stick into the porthole or something.
I've actually, beautiful. Okay.
Okay, wait, let's wait till we camera, make sure we're on our wonderful, wonderful poet. And here he is.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, what you done?
Okay, so Nate the Lyricist.
Okay, so this piece is entitled Garvey. It discusses Marcus Garvey, the red, the black, and the green flag.
Oh yeah, the green won't show.
Which you're not going to see, yeah.
But yeah.
The red, the black, and the green flag. What the colours mean, what they stand for,
Red, gold, and green.
what he was. The red stands for your blood. So if your heart beats, you should probably know the philosophies of Garvey. See, Marcus wasn't thrilled when he saw how much was spilled and thought the future he'd helped build would benefit our people largely. Jamaica, Honduras, Ecuador and Britain. Garvey used to travel round surveying our position. When he saw the way we bled, it was fuel his ambition. So the flag contains the red to help us fulfill his mission. We share a trait with others from the land of our mothers. Black is our colour, so the flag is our honour. Encouraged us to love our sisters and all our brothers. Suave, tan, copper, if you're black and proud, holla. It's largely thanks to Garvey our relationships developing. Africa is wifey, I see Marcus is the wedding ring. If you're of the flag, then get on out before you settled in. Sounded out the call to all remotely blessed with melanin. Mosiah had a dream and green represents the scene. We be residents of she, Mother Africa the Queen. Once we're absolutely surrounded by natural beauty, we fulfill our actual duty, which is keeping her pristine. Stolen from her womb, we'd head back to fill her abdomen, bringing with us love, self-knowledge and business acumen. The day I saw the green next to the black up on the flag is when I processed Garvey's message. Africa is for us Africans. Time will teach if you don't know the game yet. See, Garvey's words hold more weight the older they get. His message is today, long after he took his last breath. Oh my G-O-D, Garvey overcame death. Now he's an ancestor star in the sky who's darker than I. Shipping pride through to different parts of your mind. It's thanks to him that I write these Afrocentric raps. Bars, rhymes, flow is wavy, so be sure you catch that black star line. It's our time, I see a people rising, equalizing. Garvey answer, that means that I'm meeting people like him. Buy black, remember the red, head for the green team. UNIA, we're looking like a dream team. Garvey saw a nation going through humiliation and made for us a way to come and change our situation. Instead of waiting patiently salvation to receive, we could build on a foundation with red adjacent to green. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sorry. Wicked.
Thanks.
Wicked. Because I was brought up on Marcus Garvey, but it's that's what I'm saying, somebody that we don't hear enough about. And you're amazing, to be honest. I always want to hear the Malcolm X one now, because I haven't heard that one. I think I've heard the Malcolm X.
Have you not? That one's on my Instagram, so you can plug it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so go visit Nate the Lyricist.
I love that piece. Oh my days.
Oh, time is it? How much time we got now? I think we've only got a few minutes, and I might get killed if I make you do that one. But you can always come back.
Yeah.
It's been amazing to have you and share you with the audience. You've got so much to give, and
I've got so much to come.
Yeah, you've got more to come.
Yeah.
So keep doing you, keep shining, Nate.
Thank you.
And thank you. It's been a pleasure.